Sup gamers, it's Cindy aka Cindizzle aka Is Your Sister Single? Haha, I'm back in black. People ask me all the time how I learned how to do my makeup. The answer is I have read a lot of books, not a lot of books, a lot of articles. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos. I have done a lot of practice. So basically I've just invested a lot of time. If you do not have the time to spend reading every single article you could possibly find, guess what? Today is your lucky day because I'm here to basically just give you the Spark Notes version of everything I've ever learned in my life.
Wow.
If you're new here, hi, I'm Cindy. I'm your new favorite YouTuber.
Smash that subscribe button.
We're just gonna hop right into it. So, here's what you need to know. Your eyebrows are like the most important thing on your face. Your eyebrows literally make or break your face. So there's so many different products out there that you can get. If you are not super into makeup and you aren't that serious about it, you know, then I would suggest just getting a pencil. My favorite drugstore pencil is the NYX Brow something. It's basically the same thing as like the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil, which that one is really good, but that's like 20 something bucks and it doesn't last that long. So I would not suggest purchasing that pencil unless you're literally just rich. I use the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. I use it in the shade Chocolate. I have had this literally since my sophomore year of high school. It's lasted me like 2 years. Also, I'm aware that makeup products like expire, but it still works, so you just need to get a skinny brush like this and then you just dip it in. Basically just underline the bottom of your brow, do the tail, and then do the top, and then just fill in all between. The tail should be pretty dark, but then here at the beginning, it should be a lot lighter. So there should be kind of a gradient effect. One thing that is super important is to have a spoolie brush to brush through it. That's just gonna make your eyebrows look a lot more natural and not like they're like drawn on with Sharpie. So this was the Glossier Boy Brow Gel. This was a really good product, but it was probably like 18 bucks. It just didn't last that long and like, that's just expensive, you know? Like, I'm not trying to spend that. I still use the spoolie that it came with. The spoolie is just this little type of brush thing. But yeah, you basically just brush through your eyebrows. Mainly brush out the front right here, and that is going to make a huge difference. So the other thing about eyebrows that makes a huge difference is outlining them in concealer. Just get a little skinny brush just like this, and I'll talk a little bit more about brushes later, but just get literally any concealer, literally just outline the whole eyebrow. That's just gonna make it look nice and clean. It's gonna make that brow pop more, and it's just gonna be a better time. You should invest in a good foundation, okay? Like, even if it doesn't look that different, the chemicals in it are going to just be better for your skin if it's kind of like a nicer foundation than if it's just like drugstore. Mine is the NARS like Radiant Foundation. I'm in the shade Medium 1.5. Like, you just don't know the difference a good foundation can make until you have a really good foundation and you're like,
Shoo, okay.
if you've watched any of my other makeup videos, you know I love the Benefit Professional Skin Primer. Do you need a primer? No. But if it's in your budget, I would suggest that. That just makes all your makeup go on so much more smooth and creamy. The Benefit Professional, that just like makes all your pores just blend together so you look like a smooth porcelain china doll.
Bro, what is that? Is this me or is this me?
One mistake that people make a lot, they will use like a very, very light under eye concealer. You always want your concealer to match, but then you cheat the under eye concealer just a tiny bit lighter, and then for like concealing spots and blemishes and acne on your face, you can go with the one that's darker. You can use an under eye concealer that's tinted like slightly orange or slightly yellow. That's gonna cover up more of your like under eye circles. A lot of times when people are color correcting, they use like bright orange and bright yellow. That's literally just gonna make you look orange and yellow. That's not the way to go. You wanna do it in skin color concealer that's like slightly tinted orange or yellow. Brushes can be so overwhelming just because there's literally so many of them. You don't know like which one you actually need, which one are just because rich people are extra. So I have kind of like narrowed it down to the top 5 or so. So this is a Real Techniques brush. It's just really tightly packed. It's really soft. You can use this to blend out your contour, blend out your blush, just kind of blend out anything. This is just a good general face blending brush. I already talked about your skinny eyebrow brush. That is one you need if you're going to be using a pomade. I would suggest actually getting 2 that are kind of really skinny like that. This one you can use to go around your eyebrow with concealer, and you can use it to highlight like your inner corner. You don't want to have to always be constantly washing your tiny brush in between applications, so it's good to just have 2. I already talked about a spoolie brush. You need a spoolie. A lot of eyebrow pencils, they come with them on the end. I will just save that pencil even if it runs out because I'll just use the spoolie. This is just a little like blending brush. It's a little more like loosely packed, if you can see that. Stop focusing on me. I hate that I'm doing this. It's loosely packed. If you have some concealer on your hand, you go boop, 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 and just kind of like dot it, and that is good to correct spots and stuff. This is kind of cheating because it's kind of 2 brushes. So this is kind of like a more tightly bristled brush, and this is good to just like get the eyeshadow and just like dab it on. Dab it. This other end is really fluffy, so this is good to just blend it out. So those are brushes that I think are good. A lot of people use sponges, beauty blenders. Here's my thing. I normally use my fingers for like my foundation, even to tap in concealer on my under eyes. I just use the ring fingers because those are like the softest fingers or whatever, and you just tap, 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 because the heat from your hands melts the makeup into your face. Wash your hands before, obviously. I have started using some disposable sponges, like this one, for example. It's just like a tiny little triangle. If something isn't blending in the way I want it to, I just like press it in, you know, get it to kind of like melt into the skin that way. I don't like beauty blenders because you have to wash them or they just get really gross, and then you have mold in them, and then you're putting like mold on your face, and that is gross. Disposable sponges I'll use like once or twice if I'm feeling crazy, and then I just throw it out. When you're applying any face makeup, be very light-handed, okay? I'm in a makeup class this semester. The TA was showing me something and she's like, oh, you just like tap it out like that. And I'm like, wow, you did that so lightly. Like the way I normally put it on, I'm like, bam, 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 bam. I'm like pounding my face in. So that's probably not what you want to do, but you're gonna just cause wrinkles. I should have known because I'm just kind of aggressive. I can't use mechanical pencils because they literally will just break for me. I feel like I'm one of those people who like will try to be all flirty and stuff and be like, oh, haha, like stop, you're so funny. And instead I'm like,
Oh, stop, you're so funny.
Knock them out, they're on the ground.
Right hand, he leads to the right hand, he won't be able to do it, it's all over.
You want to be very gentle when you're putting stuff on your face. Here's the tea about mascara. You see so many of the like fancy mascaras and you're like, okay, those work really well, but I'm also not made of money, you know, like I have bills to pay and mouths to feed, mainly just my own mouth, but you know. The formulas in mascara really aren't different unless it's waterproof. Only use waterproof mascara if you have to use it, but don't use it for the everyday. That's gonna dry out your lashes, and when you take your makeup off, it's a lot harder to get off, so you'll end up ripping out some of your lashes. Every brand basically uses the same formula. The only thing that's different is the brush. So here I have my They're Real by Benefit mascara. This has been empty since probably like December 2017. I just saved the brush. If you buy one fancy mascara and you like that brush, just save the brush through it with your normal mascara, then you go through with like the fancy brush and it'll still have the same effect. Or you can just take out the drugstore mascara, take out the brush of the fancy mascara, wipe off some of it, put it through the hole and bring it out to like get off the excess, obviously. And then bada bing, bada boom, you just finesse the whole system. That is my tip for mascara. That's my tip for mascara. People ask me all the time how I put on my eyelashes, and people are like,
I don't know how you wear eyelashes, like, they bother me so much.
Homegirl, you're doing it wrong.
they shouldn't be falling off by the end of the night. They shouldn't be, I don't know, doing weird stuff. You've probably seen me do it before, but this is what you do. So I use the Ardell Wispies. I put on the mascara first, and then put on the fake eyelashes, and then don't put on mascara after that, because then it's a lot easier to reuse your eyelashes. Take the eyelash like so. You take the eyelash glue. Oh, this is the Duo brush on adhesive with vitamins dark. I like to use black eyelash glue because it just like blends in with your eye better. You open the thing. I like the brush on adhesive too, just because you have so much more control. You take the brush, you brush it onto the eyelash like that. I'm not actually gonna do it. You blow on it. I like to like bend it like this. You can kind of go like that way it stays in that shape, and I blow on it some more. Wait for it to get tacky.
You're tacky and I hate you.
I like to tilt the mirror up because it gives you a better angle. And then you basically, well, I'm using one hand to hold the mirror, but basically you would use two hands and just kind of put it on there. I use tweezers and I just squeeze the fake eyelash line, like this part, to the real eyelash line. That way there's not a gap in between them. If the eyelashes are at like a weird angle, you can also use an eyelash curler just to clamp down on both of them, just to make sure they're both sticking straight up. Another thing that I have started doing, I will trim off the very beginning of the eyelash, like this part, because then when you put it on, it won't block your eyeshadow. Like if I do a really cool eyeshadow look, but then my eyelashes are huge, no one can even see it unless I close my eyes, which is lame. So I trim off the beginning part and focus on getting the eyelashes mainly on my outer lashes. That way you can see my whole eyeball.
So I was editing this, and originally I was gonna do everything all in one video. I realized that that is going to take forever, and my biological time clock is ticking. You know, we're on a time crunch here, so we are going to have a part 2, so stay tuned for the part 2, and I will be filming that soon. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you learned everything. Leave a comment down below suggesting other videos or any other questions you have or any other tips you have that I may have missed. Like, subscribe, join the fam, turn on post notifs. Ew, I hate that I just said that. Love you, stay cute, don't do anything I wouldn't do. You know, remember who you are. Okay, bye.